Because even if you're not doing anything wrong, you're being watched and recorded, and the storage capability of these systems increases every year consistently by orders of magnitude, to where it's getting to the point you don't have to have done anything wrong. You simply have to eventually fall under suspicion from somebody, even by a wrong call, and then they can use the system to go back in time and scrutinize every decision you've ever made, every friend you've ever discussed something with, and attack you on that basis to sort of derive suspicion from an innocent life and paint anyone in the context of a wrongdoer.
Book a flight, he was told he was banned from flying because he's on the list of untrustworthy people. Leo is a journalist who was ordered by a court to apologize for a series of tweets he wrote and was then told his apology was insincere. I can't buy property. My child can't go to private school, he says. You feel you're being controlled by the list all the time. As every Chinese citizen is being assigned a social credit score, a fluctuating rating based on a range of behaviors. It's believed that community service and buying Chinese-made products can raise your score. Fraud, tax evasion, and smoking in non-smoking areas can drop it. If a score gets too low, a person can be banned from buying plane and train tickets, real estate, cars, and even high-speed internet.
Anyway, the first episode of the third series released late last year was called Nosedive. Here's the episode summary from TV.com. In the near future, society exists as an intricate system where people rate each other on everything. If your rating drops too low, then so does your life. Now, you may think that's posts and tweets. But in Nosedive, the rating system is ratcheted up to include every interaction you have in your life. For example, simply saying hello to someone in the street. If your hello is not enthusiastic enough, you might get a lower rating than you would like. Say something unpopular, then you're immediately down-rated. Sounds like Twitter, doesn't it? Even simply buying a coffee, you rate the barista for his service, and he rates you back for the way you interact with him. All of these day-to-day interactions are rated and go into your overall rating, which then affects everything from your ability to rent an apartment and hire a car to whether you get invited to a wedding. And I think the brilliance of Black Mirror is that it takes a technology or social phenomenon that already exists to some extent, then ratchets it up to a point that on the surface appears crazy, but at the same time entirely plausible. I mean, you may already be thinking from what I've described about Nosedive that it sounds like a kind of social justice warrior utopia, where if you step out of line by having the wrong opinion or even not displaying the requisite level of gratitude or cheeriness, then your entire life gets downgraded. And so the obvious conclusion for anyone that wants to get ahead in this world is to practice self-censorship by not saying anything even remotely controversial or negative and faking your way through life. There's a scene early in the episode where the female protagonist practices fake laughing in the mirror before she goes out and fakes her way through the day. Anyway, on to Big Brother China. Big data meets Big Brother as China moves to rate its citizens. The Chinese government plans to launch its social credit system in 2020. The aim? To judge the trustworthiness or otherwise of its 1.3 billion residents. On June 14, 2014, the State Council of China published an ominous-sounding document called Planning Outline for the Construction of a Social Credit System. In the way of Chinese policy documents, it was a lengthy and rather dry affair, but it contained a radical idea. What if there was a national trust score that rated the kind of citizen you were? Imagine a world where many of your daily activities were constantly monitored and evaluated. What you buy at the shops and online, where you are at any given time, who your friends are and how you interact with them, how many hours you spend watching content or playing video games, and what bills and taxes you pay or not. It's not hard to picture because most of that already happens thanks to all those data collecting behemoths like Google, Facebook and Instagram, or health tracking apps such as Fitbit. But now imagine a system where all these behaviours are rated as either positive or negative and distilled into a single number according to rules set by the government.
That system is central to dealing with complexity, as it offers us a very abstract model and a solid basis on which to structure our reasoning about complex social systems. In this video, we'll be taking a very high-level view of what we mean by this term, social system, and then we'll be digging further into each aspect of it in coming videos. So we'll be outlining our basic model as consisting of social actors, called agents, and a set of relations between them. We'll talk about the idea of social agency and the different types of relations between these agents. Finally, we'll talk about side. Now we have a social system because the individuals are interrelated and interdependent in affecting a joint outcome. All individuals are arranged in a particular fashion or occupy a particular state in order to perform a collective function. As such, the individuals are interdependent. And this is the same for all social systems, such as a corporation, that has well-defined roles and relations between those roles through related responsibilities for their actions. Agency is then not just the property of an individual, but collections of individuals can have agency. That is to say, the individuals fulfilling those roles are then empowered with